I don't know what I thought about that. I just watched episode 6 of season 2 of The Last of Us, and I have to talk about this episode. There will be spoilers. This episode covers a lot of ground. We flash way back to the 80s when Joel was a kid. We see this confrontation between a young Joel and his police officer father, who's trying his best to keep these two boys in check despite being a little rough with them. He admits to Joel that he's not the perfect dad, but he hopes that in his adulthood, Joel can do things a little better. And we hear that line one more time at the very end of the episode during Joel's heartfelt apology to Ellie. This whole 80s flashback sequence was completely new for the series. It was not in the game, but I thought it was kind of a welcome look into Joel's past, and it helps us better understand his way of thinking. One thing I really liked about this episode was how it flashed through a series of birthdays over the years, starting from when we last saw Ellie at the end of season 1 all the way up until Joel's death. We really saw how Ellie's relationship with Joel went from a very strong bond of trust to almost dysfunctional and estranged. In this episode, we finally got the iconic museum trip where Ellie and Joel go to a museum and Joel surprises her with an out-of-this-world fantasy trip to space. Such an iconic sequence, and I thought they executed it really well. But as Ellie gets older, she starts to see how much control Joel has had on her life, and she starts to push away a little bit. And the tipping point of their relationship comes when Ellie and Joel are out on patrol and they come across Eugene, who's been bitten by an infected. Before putting Eugene out of his misery, Joel promises Ellie that he'll take Eugene all the way back to Jackson so he can properly say goodbye to his wife. But when he breaks that promise, in that moment Ellie realizes Joel has not been telling the complete truth about what happened with the Fireflies. Again, this is another sequence in the show that is not in the game at all, but I thought it was an excellent way to cue Ellie onto the fact that Joel has not been truthful with her this whole time. Then comes the part of this episode that isn't exactly sitting right with me. The apology scene on Joel's front porch. If you've played this game, you know how important to the entire storyline this scene is. One would argue Ellie's entire motivation pushing her through the storyline is based in this scene. And the main reason this isn't sitting well with me is because if you played the game, this scene is the very last thing that we see before the credits roll in the game. We have one more episode and an entire season left. In the game, we went the entire runtime not knowing if Ellie actually forgave Joel. And it just doesn't feel right happening this early on. All that aside, I have to say the performances in this episode were great. The direction was really strong. I am still really liking the series. I'm anxious to see what the cliffhanger is going to be. I've got to just trust in the creative process and really hope these guys know what they're doing with the show that's different than the game, because some of these changes I'm not so sure about. But what did you guys think of the episode?